As I'm sitting here in traffic this morning, I thought that I would record a real quick video directed directly at my leaders in Washington to tell you how disgusted I am with your behavior and your what seems to be complete failure at representing the people who elected you to office in Washington, D.C. It is absolutely irresponsible of you to think that you can not support the President of the United States who was duly elected to office to serve the people of the United States. What you seem to be missing is that he was duly elected by the people. You seem to still believe that there was some mistake or some freak of an accident that this man was elected to the presidency of the United States of America. You need to wake up. You need to realize that the people of the United States of America are still smart enough to be able to determine what they need to do in order to be properly represented and governed in the United States of America. You people in Congress are not gods. You are not above the law, and you do not choose how you represent us. We are not dumb. We are not ignorant. We are smart Americans. We are tired of your corruption. It's as simple as that. You keep beating around the bush. You keep trying to think of other reasons why this businessman was elected the President of the United States. The way that you all have legislated your way into the positions that you are so that you can have unlimited time in Congress, the way that you have legislated your way into retirement nest eggs, golden goose eggs, the way that you have legislated yourselves into beautiful health care programs, the way that you have legislated yourselves into pretty damn good salaries while you're there. I admit they're not, well, no, they are great salaries for the amount of time that you put in Congress. The way that you have managed to legislate your way into being able to avoid the rule of law when you break the laws, as so obviously has taken place and is currently taking place with the way that you are doing investigations on yourselves right now, is sickening. We, the people of the United States of America, who have had enough, elected Donald Trump to the United States presidency. There was no fluke. There was no Russian interference. Was there a foreign power who was trying to do some manipulating of data, trying to do some propaganda bullshit on Facebook or whatever? Sure. It happened during the Obama election as well. Were the sides trying to take each other down during campaigning and that kind of thing? Sure. So what? Democrats, Republicans, they've been doing it for years. So what? The outcome is still what the outcome was. We, the people, elected Donald Trump as the President of the United States, and you all need to stop with the bullshit that you're trying to do to take down the president. You need to get on with business. We're tired of it. All the American people are getting tired of it. You've spent millions of dollars over the last almost 2 years trying to take this man down. It's obvious now that there are crimes being committed and have been committed by the opposing side to Donald Trump. Whether you like Donald Trump or not is neither here nor there. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. You are elected officials who are supposed to be there supporting our president. I'm from Virginia. I will never vote. Let me tell you this. I have never been a Republican or a Democrat. I have voted Democrat probably more than I have Republican. But let me tell you what's going to happen next. I am never going to vote for anyone who acts the way that Mark Warner is acting right now. Or the other people in Congress right now, the way you're acting to take down the sitting president of the United States. Tim Kaine, you too. Scott, you too. Anyone who is undermining the business of the United States government blatantly, it's almost treasonous to me the way that you are treating the current administration of the United States of America. It's not right. And if you think there's going to be a blue wave that's going to suddenly take over, you got another thing coming, because you can't seem to understand that the people of the United States, the ones who elected Trump, are going to continue to vote against career politicians who are corrupt. You are corrupt. There are people in the background who are doing investigations right now as we speak to uncover your wicked ways and the way that you're governing us in the United States Congress, in the judicial, in the executive, and in all three branches of the government. Okay? There's investigations going on right now, and there are people that are quitting, resigning because they're being forced to resign. There are people being fired. There are people that are going to go to jail. There are people that are going to face indictments. There are indictments right now that are being unsealed as we're going along right now. Okay? You're being taken down. We're tired of it. This whole thing is blowing up in your face. It's time to stop the crap. This thing with the CIA director. You voted when Obama was in the White House, when George Bush was in the White House. You guys voted for certain people to be put in place, and now because it's Donald Trump in the White House, you're voting another way. Only because it's Donald Trump. Because you want to resist, you want to obstruct, everything that this guy is trying to do to drain the swamp and end the corruption in the United States government. And that's what he's doing. You know it, I know it, we know it. Here's a message to the American people as well. Read the executive orders that Donald Trump has been putting in place since he got there to be able to drain the swamp and take those accountable for the corruption in front of the American people and have them stand trial. I'm telling you. Okay, let me just calm down. I'm not telling you anything, okay? I've been keeping my mouth shut. I really have. I've been really restraining myself because I've been doing my own investigating. I've been coming to my own truths. This thing with the CIA director going on right now it has angered me to watch people from Virginia that are supposed to be representing me in Virginia hammering this person who was doing her job after 9/11 to try to help us get to the bottom of what was happening with people destroying our lives in America, our way of life. And you people from Virginia sitting on that panel questioning this lady, and as though she's some kind of criminal, as though she's some kind of inhumane person, when you sat there and voted and approved the use of waterboarding and things to try to get to the answers back then, you're now challenging her? How dare you? I will never vote for anyone who is showing their true colors today as we are today. You're losing people left and right by showing your cowardice to stand up for the American way of life. You are not representing the people of America. You are representing some underbelly, deep state corruption that you want to continue. You have got to... Here's the thing. You have got to be an advocate for change right now. Warner, you've got to be a change agent. You cannot continue to sit on your ass and allow the deep state to continue. You can't do it. Not if you want to continue to work in the government. We're going to have you out of there. We're going to make sure you get out of there. We're not going to allow it. We're not going to continue to allow you to keep doing it. You can't continue to operate the way you've been operating. So, I'm done with my rant. Anyone who's operating with a grain of sanity, with a grain of common sense, who has been watching the news, who has been keeping up with what's going on with the Mueller probe, what's going on with the uranium one, what's going on with these approvals of Mr. Trump's cabinet posts and his selections for people to fill positions that he's been trying to fill with his appointees to help get his programs in place. The positive things that he's doing with North Korea, with Iran, with the foreign relations that he's carrying on right now, that's being ignored by the mainstream media. All of this stuff is piling up on the side of supporting our president. And yet, you fools continue to think that the American people aren't supporting him, that the American people aren't seeing through your continued paradigm of corruption, of lies, of telling the American people lies. You can't keep doing it. Tim Kaine, you can't keep doing it. You have to get on board with the new American. No, wait. You have to get on board with getting back to the America that was there 20, 30 years ago, before the corruption started getting so bad and so deep that we're almost to the point where we can't get it back. But guess what? There are true American people out here who voted for Donald Trump. This was not an accident. This was not a mistake. It might have been a mistake in your minds because you thought you had the election bought and paid for. You thought that you had this thing so hammered out that the American people were so stupid they couldn't elect another president. You thought you had it bought and paid for, didn't you? Guess what? Nope. Didn't happen that way. In fact, you thought you were so arrogant in thinking that you had this election bought and paid for that you didn't cover your tracks well enough. And now all the facts are starting to come out. All the emails, all the texts that you were so arrogant about are now coming out. You didn't quite bleach it good enough. You didn't quite nail it and tear it apart good enough that you can't be prosecuted. But now it's coming out. You can't get away with it. So you might as well get on board, admit that you did wrong, and maybe we'll forgive you. Maybe, if you turn on the people who were corrupting and trying to undermine the election the other way, the true colluders, the true conspirators who were trying to undermine the election, who were trying to make sure that Donald Trump didn't become the candidate, and who were then trying to make sure that didn't get elected, and who are trying to unseat him now with lies and deception. Maybe it's time to get on board and make sure they're the ones that take the heat. Make sure they're the ones that have to answer for their criminality. Maybe it's time for you to do that. Maybe you can avoid going to jail. Maybe you can avoid that. Become a witness. I don't know how to do it any other way. How are you going to do it any other way if you want to continue in public service, or you resign, or choose not to run again? But you got to stop what you're doing right now. It's obvious to all of us out here. We're not stupid. The American people are not stupid. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the rule of law. Those of us who are not Republicans, I'm speaking for those, the people who are not Republicans, who have voted for Donald Trump because of what you are doing right now. You got to wake up. You got to wake up and realize the paradigm that you have been practicing for many, many years is coming to a close. You cannot continue to get away with it. We are not going to allow you to oppress us with your elitist attitude and your self-governing. We need oversight on you. This is why the Department of Justice and the FBI is being investigated right now, and you have got to open up with the transparency. You cannot continue to blockade the investigation of you. And Congress, you got to stop. You Democrats who think you're going to get away with this, you're not. Anyway, I've said enough. Just know that there are true Americans out here who are not going to allow this to go on. We elected Donald Trump to be President of the United States to drain the swamp. That's the group you need to talk to. Not the group that wanted to build a wall. Not the group that wanted tax reform. Not that group. That's not the group that won the election. It's the group that wants you bozos out of there. It's the group that wants the swamp drained. It's the group that wants the SES held accountable. That's the group that voted for Donald Trump. That's the group that you need to try to, if you want to have this blue wave, maybe you better think about a purple wave, and you better start thinking about the draining the swamp group. They're the ones. The drain the swamp group. They're the ones. And until you realize that that's the group that wants answers, that wants you guys to change your narrative, that's the ones that are going to win elections. Get on board with the non-politician group, and then you can start winning elections. Make sure that message is about draining the swamp, ending the corruption, and getting to the root of the evil that has been put in place by previous administrations on the right and the left. I'm not holding this just to the left, but the right and the left. Get that down, and maybe you can get some trust back from these people that voted for Donald Trump. Until you do that, you're not going to win us.